House conservatives are breathing new life into an old proposal. It's been around for years to do away with income taxes, payroll taxes, estate taxes, and even the IRS itself in favor of a supersized sales tax that would account for nearly all government revenues. I'm all for it. On the surface, it sounds great. So a small minority of House Republicans may force a vote on the creation of a national sales tax. So this will needlessly give Democrats a political hammer in exchange for a flawed bill with no hope of passing. It's got no hope of passing. Passes the House, not going to pass the Senate. It's God. If it passes the Senate, Joe Biden's going to veto it. So let's just kind of get into it. The Fair Tax Act has been introduced by a small handful of Republicans in every Congress since 1999. The bill proposes to abolish the Internal Revenue Service and eliminate the federal income tax. That sounds wonderful. So far, so good, right? Unfortunately, the bill would replace the income tax with a 30% national sales tax on all goods and services and establish a giant new entitlement program. That's a problem. You read that right. A 30% national sales tax with some hidden things going on. 30% is too high, folks. You guys, that's too high. Okay, I'm all for a flat tax. I'll get into that. So that's how much they don't want rich people to have to pay taxes, ladies and gentlemen. They want you to pay 30 cents on the dollar for everything you buy. So instead of adding 87,000 agents to weaponize the IRS against small business owners and the middle America, the bill would eliminate the need for the department entirely by simplifying the tax code with provisions that work for the American people and encourage growth and innovation. So, armed, unelected bureaucrats should not have more power over your paycheck than you do. That's from Republican Buddy Carter. He's the chief sponsor of what he has styled the Fair Tax Act. Sounds like the Inflation Reduction Act, Buddy. So, which, you have to ask, who in their right mind would think a 30% sales tax is anything resembling fair? Plus all the state taxes on top of that you're going to have to pay, folks. So the Fair Tax Act would abolish income, payroll, estate, gift taxes, and proposed, kind of delve in, it's 23% national sales tax, but the effective rate would be 30%. It's too high. So according to, that's from the Nonpartisan Institute Taxation and Economic Policy. One of those think tanks. Nice job if you can get it. So under the bill, if you buy something, let's say that costs $100 before tax, you'll pay $30 of national sales tax. Most of us would call that a 30% sales tax insane. Proponents, however, call it a 23% tax because the $30 is 23% of your gross payment of $130. Your payment including the sales tax. So proponents claim this method of calculation is more comparable to how we think about the income tax, but its main result is widespread, ladies and gentlemen, confusion. That 30% figure has now become the main focus of criticism, and Democrats have taken aim at the proposal with Democratic Senator Jon Tester pledging on Wednesday to defeat the awful plan. I mean, Republicans, you could have made it more competitive. Come on. So if you want, if you kind of do an apples to apples comparison with the way sales taxes are usually presented, it's closer to 30% when I analyze the data. So it's effectively a 30% sales tax nationally, and that will be levied on top, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at both sides of this, of state taxes, state sales taxes, and other taxes at the state and local level. The trade-off would be the elimination of federal taxes. You would not need to file a return. That'd be wonderful. So the bill would also abolish the Internal Revenue Service, and if after the fiscal year 2027, and Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, Mr. Rhino, has previously promised to allow the bill to come to the floor to vote, but he's not a fan of the bill. So let's, I think you break down an example. kind of get a better understanding of this bill. Let's say you're making at least $50K a year, and that's $50K a year to live before you can save a dime. So under this proposal, every dollar of that income is going to be taxed. On the other hand, if you're making over $1 million a year and you're saving a portion of that, not all of that income is going to end up being taxed as sales tax, right? So you're a baller. You got some advantages, that are working for you. So you're a lower income earner, you're going to be taxed out the ass. So the advantage to higher income earners is, from analyzing the data, is so pronounced that the legislation includes, this is a prebate. So it's a cash transfer program in which taxpayers get regular checks equal to the amount that the people at the poverty level would owe in taxes. So the result is a smaller tax burden for the highest and lowest earners and a bigger one for people in the middle, if they would include that rebate deal. So there was a study done in 2006, House Small Business Committee, on a similar proposal, found that the tax burden for people making more than $200,000 and less than $15,000 a year would go down, while the burden for people making something up in between would go up. Okay? And moreover, the largest drop in overall tax liability would happen for the top 20% of earners, whose share of the federal tax burden would fall from 84.2% down to 65.1%. So people in the middle of the earning spectrum would see their share rise from 3.8% to 10.5%. So, some issues there. Basically, a big challenge with the fair taxes, you end up with higher taxes paid by incomes on the low and middle parts of the income scale under consumption taxes than higher earners. So the proponents of the bill are saying, hey, like I said, on the surface, it looks great. Hey, we're going to abolish the IRS. But, I look at it more as they're actually just, they're outsourcing tax enforcement and compliance to the state level. And so it's not going away, right? It sounds great on the surface. Federal IRS is just going to go down to the state and local levels. So I like the thought process holistically. You guys know the tax codes is just about this many pages. It should be about 10 pages or less. It's a joke. They should do a flat tax. They should do a flat tax at 20%. 20%. 30% is too high, and then they got to work out between the high and local income earners with those addendums put in there to make it work for everyone. And they could do it. The 30% is ridiculous. And like I said, it's going to go to the state level. Then it's on top of all the state taxes that you're already freaking paying. And if someone's making $50,000 a year, you are going to get screwed. And if you're making $1 million, you'll save more. But there's a way they could do it where it would work for everyone. It's too out of control right now. In California, more than half your income is going to taxes. It's a joke. And all over the country, it's a joke. It needs to be fixed. Just want to make you aware of that. Have a great weekend.